Do you ever feel like Gilmore Girls won't go away? Oh no, we lost Jacque. She's gone. Hi, I'm Phoebe.
Hi, I'm Jacque.
And welcome to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering.
I have a doozy for you today.
I'm so scared because you wouldn't let me look at the notion. And I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going?
I had to do notes, but I wouldn't. Don't look. And I even called our recording something else. Do you ever feel like Gilmore Girls won't go away? Oh no, we lost Jacque. She's gone.
I can't. I literally cannot. I can't believe you are doing this to me right now. You know I'm like a mega fan, right? Like I've memorized every episode of Gilmore Girls. I've seen everything. This is going to be a disaster. I hate you. Okay, for real though, one of my best friends at my wedding party used a Gilmore Girls reference in their speech. That's how much we're obsessed. Melissa, Monkey Underpants.
Oh.
It's later Gilmore Girls, which people could argue if it's Gilmore Girls, but
yeah. This is not my takedown. This is not my ultimate takedown of Gilmore Girls.
I know.
This is not my ultimate takedown of Gilmore Girls. But instead, I ask the question, I am so curious about this, like the chokehold it has on our culture, and not even just generationally. Like the girlies love Luke's.
Oh yes.
You know, like I think I find it interesting. I find it interesting.
I'm so ready for this conversation. I don't need a single note. I don't need nothing. It's all up here, baby.
That's great. This is great. This is going to make my job a lot easier.
I have so much to say about the show.
Cuz like what I think is so funny about this, like when I had this idea. So it's fall, and also I thought it'd be a good fall episode.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fall, and what does one do once a leaf turns yellow but turn on the lalalalas and cozy on up with you know, your light academia aesthetic. It's part of what happens. And so in my thinking about this, the number of Gilmore Girls podcasts, of pop culture deep dives, of YouTube videos, of analyses that exists of my TikTok page, For You page alone, that exists, I find very interesting. And so when I first thought of this, doing a Gilmore Girls episode, I was like, okay, well, let me do my like pop culture research. But then I looked around and I saw it has been done. And so then I asked, what is the chokehold that the show has wrapped around us? So
yeah,
this is what I present to you today.
Oh, you're killing me. I have so many answers to this question. So many.
Okay.
I know a disgusting amount about this show. Like, it's a problem. Okay.
Should we introduce Gilmore Girls? This
No.
was the other thing. I was like, do I need to write a little, like, do the people know what Gilmore Girls is?
Honestly, if you don't know what Gilmore Girls is, you should stop listening to this and go watch Gilmore Girls.
I can't imagine that even if you don't know what it is, or that even if you haven't watched a single episode, that it's like The Simpsons to me in a way. You know, it's just like part.
It's like a thing.
The zeitgeist.
So, I've been like the internet is calling me in the last like month, and I've been like trickling back to Instagram.
The internet is calling me.
It's calling me. And I only have Instagram on my computer. which helps with the boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
But recently I like went on to Gilmore Girls. I went on to Gilmore Girls. No, I went on to Instagram. Same thing. And I like was just whatever this is, scrolling.
Yeah.
And there was like this fashion, like European influencer who has started doing this trend with their partner of like fit checks, which like I'm like assuming that means like showing your outfit.
You got
And
it, girl.
so
You nailed it.
They did this little like showing their outfit move moment. And then they were like, then in the caption, it was like how we spent our Sunday. And it was like, we got brunch, we went to an art museum, and then we ended the day watching Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
like,
wow.
This like, I don't know, Copenhagen maybe, like what, like in like is where I think they are, influencer and her husband were like cozying up on the couch on a Sunday in fall,
yes,
and watching Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
And so I bring that to this conversation.
Yes, exactly.
To say, like, it's a fucking thing.
It's like, a fucking thing. And,
yes.
And like, and this is what I kind of thought, like, you know, when I kind of my interest first peaked around this, I was like, you know, I would say we're even a bit young for Gilmore Girls, you know, like because it came out like we were kids when it came out.
Yeah.
Still, like, you know, it was meant for, I don't know, who was it meant for? I remember watching it when it was on air. I guess we kind of aged with it, perhaps. I remember watching it when it was on air, but it's not just a generational thing alone. You know, it's like these young 20-somethings that are like wrapped up in it still. And like to me, that is like a true testament of a piece of pop culture, is not that it just stays in the zeitgeist, but that people make it relevant again. Like it has context within new forms of media.
Like when it got to streaming, I remember getting the Gilmore Girls DVD box sets. And it was such a thrill. And I took them from like every phase of my life. Like when I moved out of the house and I like went to the all-female collegiate school, like Rory Gilmore style, like, you know what I'm saying? Like to the pretty fall campus that's featured in, oh my God, the new Sandra Oh show on Netflix, The Chair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was filmed at my campus, Chatham University.
Oh, wow.
So pretty. A very like fall, like what I'm saying is like a pretty fall campus vibe. I was so excited to like watch Gilmore Girls inside these like dorms. Anyways, whatever. And then I took them to Chicago and they came with me.
Yeah.
And I remember when I could get rid of them because it was like, now it's streaming. And I remember that happening and being like, oh my God, this can be with me always. I don't have to take the DVDs with me. I used to fall asleep as a person in high school, as a girly in high school, to Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
When Gilmore Girls went off the air, I cried for days, and my mom didn't. My mom let me stay home from school. I'm deeply attached to this show, and you're right. I talk to folks younger than me, who didn't watch it when they were on air, when it was on air, and they're deeply attached to it too. Yeah. It's very weird.
So it's funny because my first question was going to be, what is your relationship with this show? Because I, for a very long time, have fucking hated it. Despite watching every single episode many, 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 many times. Like I remember my babysitters when I was like a little kid would watch it. I remember kind of aging with it, you know, getting home from school, watching it after.
Yeah.
When it was like probably right at the very end of its run. And then still now, like it sticks out in my, it's funny that you were talking about university days, because it came on streaming probably in like 2013 or something like that, right when I had started university. And like I remember sitting down, and because when you're a fine arts major, you have a lot of studio time, you have a lot of media consumption time.
Just play it in the background.
I have like a PhD in Netflix as well. That's what my parents paid for. But like watching Gilmore Girls on repeat just in the background. And I think that's probably where my dislike of it. No, that's not true. My dislike of it started far, far, far before that.
There's so much to dislike.
Well, and I think
there is.
There's so much. I think it's a funny show to binge watch. I think it's a very funny show to binge watch. And there is, I think we can see this like point to this divide in television where
oh yeah,
where writing changes so much because of what people have access to. Like, did the writers of Gilmore Girls ever think that even watching a bunch of episodes
on
a DVD, it just wasn't it wasn't done. It wasn't done in the same way that we just kind of consume TV now.
I remember when the reruns of Gilmore Girls would come on after school. And that was like my like spiritual time, was to like get home from school in like late middle school, early high school. And like me and my best friend, Melissa, we would make a bagel and we would sit and we would watch Gilmore Girls for hours. And I don't even think that the writers were thinking of that even, right? No. Like the rerun of after school for 4 hours before the next episode comes on, you know?
Yeah, I really like thinking of like because like I remember being in high school and my friends really loving it. And I think it's so funny people on the internet talk about this in a mean way, and I don't think this is I don't like this critique or quote unquote critique. I just think it's bullying. But like when people assign a part of their personality to like a TV show, I always find to be a very interesting I don't know. It's a thing that happens. And it's like I would say like Fleabag is like it's a current one still now kind of thing. And I really because of internalized misogyny, really hated people whose personality trait was Gilmore Girls. And I think it's because these people triggered the ever-loving shit out of me. And the show still now to this day, we're doing this episode because, surprise, I am insane because I thought this would be a fun light thing to talk about. And then the second I started digging into it, I'm like, I have a list of problems with you people and you're all going to hear about it. It triggers the shit out of my own stuff so bad. And I think that's why growing up, I really didn't like it or relate to it, because I was like, this is my life. Like I grew up in Stars Hollow. I have a lot of the family dynamics that take place and relationships that take place in this show are my life. And I don't think it's fun to be a parentified child. Oh yeah. That's not a fun thing for me. But now, and watching it, I can take I am at a place with it. What a goofy
this is so
episode.
Fun. I
am
this.
At a place with it now where I can take the intended pieces of the show away from it and enjoy those things and then go, no thank you to other parts
of it.
This episode essentially is like a big I changed my mind about
Gilmore Girls. I remember first talking to you about Gilmore Girls in the beginning of our romance, and you said that you hated it.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, what? Because to me, it every person in my life who is remotely close to me, like, has enjoyed that show. You know what I mean? So it's to me, it's like the same thing that like every person in my life has like daddy issues. It's like, oh, you have daddy issues and you enjoy Gilmore Girls. Therefore we are meant to be. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So qualifier. You must get on this ride.
So I was surprised when you were like, no, I don't like the show. And actually, that's not even true. There are people in my life who don't like it, but have given it a chance and since do like it.
Yeah.
And I definitely was I was the person who's like, that was my personality. Like, absolutely. my friend, one of my good friends in high school, threw me a surprise party, and on the invitation it said presents mandatory, which is what Lorelai says when Rory has birthday parties, or not a birthday party. I think her 16th birthday party specifically. Yeah. And so that's what I mean when I say like I was like personality, like identity, like I'm like a quirky, weird. I got a lot of solace in that. Like seriously, like those characters. Like I'm quirky and weird, and I'm like the weird woman that has shit to say. And I felt so like connected to these women because of that. And I think that's what the show did.
Yeah, I think the show, like, as to kind of get into like the actual people, the substance of it, I think something that the show does in a very interesting way is like have these characters be very unlikable. Like, and I think that's like a common thing that people like to kind of pick up right now. They're like, and they like Lorelai like wants her cake and eat it too kind of thing. Like it shouldn't we demonize the show? And I think that's like what makes it maybe that's part of why it still has such a I'm going to use the word chokehold, why it's still sticking around, why when I was searching for a fall aesthetic today for an Instagram post, like Luke's Diner was the first thing that came up. Because like it's very, I think the like answer between these two camps of like mind-numbing TV, relatable mind-numbing TV, and like a horrific garbage person is actually like this middle of the road kind of humanness that exists, and that's the thing that I think I really picked up on. Was like, this woman, this family, this like, family unit that says the weird thing, speaks in like my mother and I have our own language.
Yes.
And my sister and I have our own language. Like being around, I remember a friend of mine in high school coming over and being like, I literally cannot be in like a group with you and your sister. Like it makes no sense. And so I think to know and understand what that relationship is like a very special, important thing. And to see that kind of on TV is special, important, relatable.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Gilmore Girls was doing at the time was like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, I think who gives a shit at that time, right? About a single mom and her daughter living in a sleepy town. Like that idea was doing things at the time quite radical. And I think that's also what's so appealing about the show is that nothing happens. I think what is so appealing about that show and what people love about it is like it reflects back this like human experience of the everyday, because literally nothing happens in an hour-long episode.
Yeah,
like
well,
the
it's
episodes,
like chicken soup.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's like it has this like comforting sense of we're all just humans in the world living our boring lives, because it's not like obviously there's a plot and shit happens, but shit doesn't really happen. You know what I mean? Like we're just like in these incredibly like beautiful, like aesthetically pleasing like spaces. We're just like soaking up the nostalgia of life. You know what I mean? Like that, I think for someone like I think for me, that was what it was. I was like, I'm a young person who's like feels all the time, and it feels nice to just like be in this simple world. I mean, the first episode of Gilmore Girls plays that song.
There she goes.
And don't you want to stay in our little corner of the world? Because like Amy knew what she was doing, right? Like she was saying like, come and be comforted by the simplicity of this place, the nostalgia, like that was part of it. Like absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because like I grew up in a Stars Hollow.
Yeah,
like,
no, I didn't.
And the only thing that I wanted, like I would skip school and like my mom would hear about it because like she had gone into a shop and be like, "Oh, I saw Phoebe walking down the street."
No.
Like
Yeah,
I grew up there. Like I know a Kirk, you know it. Like
Yeah.
and there was nothing I wanted more at the age of 14 to get the fuck out of there. Like to be unknown, like to be a part of something bigger. But then I also think of like the time that the show was running, and there's like a couple things that I think we can kind of point to. You know, like when people critique the show of like, you know, fat phobia and like race and like,
yes,
you know, the white feminism of it. Yes, we can. So it's okay. I'm getting into another thing, but like, yes, we can kind of like point to those things and say there are a time and place. But then like the reboot happens and like these characters who really don't grow much at all, or no plot happens, like and that's kind of upsetting to watch as a viewer. But then also like I was just watching the episode the other day where Emily and Richard take Lorelai and Rory to Yale, and Rory goes and has that interview, like surprise interview with the dean, and Lorelai gets pissed, and her and Emily have like this like friction. They have like an argument, and Emily's defending. Like as they're walking out, I'm like, Emily is going to take her side. Like I keep waiting for this like mother-daughter like to fucking grow, because they show up for dinner on every Friday night, and like they want something from each other. Like there is this effort, and like we don't see this evolution. And it's kind of disappointing to watch. And in that moment I was watching it and I'm just being like, oh, like I really thought, and I've seen the show so many times.
You've seen it so many times.
I really thought Emily was going to be like, I know he fucked up, but instead she stands by her husband, and
because
she's
that Emily fucking Gilmore.
And that's her identity, is her husband, and that is so disappointing to watch. I totally lost my initial thread, but I ended up somewhere.
I think what you were saying, if I might pick it up, is that like this idea of like likability, or this idea of like the show being so authentically true to what the show is, and not it trying to be anything that it isn't, and like the characters not being anything that they aren't, and like all of these people being totally lovable and totally like you can hate them all in one fell swoop. Like that's the consistency of the show. I mean, and like exactly, like, and we can say, I mean, we can critique anything. We can find something wrong with anything, right? I don't know. I think the storytelling, the world building, the character consistency of these people are who they are, you know, all of those things, the kind of reliability of that, even in this like packaged like reboot where we give a shit about the world now, and maybe we couldn't give a shit about the world on the CW, but now we can give a shit about the world in Netflix. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter, because like Lorelai is still selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like I don't know. There's not a lot of shows that do that. I don't think.
I think I was going to say like the time in which it came out, I do think is actually very interesting. I kind of point to like the early 2000s and the 80s have like this age of innocence that I find very intriguing. Like I was watching I can't remember. I love watching like, you know, a late 80s rom-com.
Oh yeah.
And kind of wondering, wow, what must it be like to be a middle-class white man? Like the world is your oyster in the 80s. And I think the early 2000s kind of offer this age of innocence that's very similar as well. Like, you know, the first episode aired before 9/11 and ended right before, you know, like big, I think right before like the big you know, economic crash of like 2008, right? So it is this time and place where that kind of occupies, I don't know, like, like this mind-numbing chicken soup that we can kind of return to at any time. And that always feels a bit relevant. Like I mean, I guess we could call it like Harry Potter almost, you know, like it is this world building fantasy, fantasy land.
It is. It is. It's funny because when I talk to people about Gilmore Girls, I think a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's a comedy," but I actually don't think it is. I think it's a drama.
They call it a dramedy. They
Oh,
call it a
really?
dramedy,
Oh,
which
maybe
I
it was like the
yeah.
first dramedy. I
Yeah.
love it. I love that.
Yeah.
Very much attached to the dramedy. Yeah, like I think, I mean, there's something about it. Just like there's a whole culture, there's fans, there's a whole thing, there's a Stars Hollow event that happens every year.
Mhm.
When I graduated high school, I made Jack drive with me up and down the East Coast to all of the little towns that
Oh
they
my
like
god, that's so
sourced
cute.
as inspiration for this place, like for Stars Hollow. Like a what? So let's talk about TV that was happening then. And when we talk about women in TV that was happening then. So
I mean, I guess you could point to Sex and the City pretty simply, right?
right. We could talk about Sex and the City. I was young at that point to be watching Sex and the City. I wasn't introduced to
Oh,
Sex and
yeah.
the City till later in high school. But like Felicity. Do you remember? Did you watch Felicity?
I didn't watch Felicity.
So
I didn't watch
Felicity kind
Felicity.
of, I think, is the first show of the like late 90s that puts like a woman and like, you know, a woman just living her life, right? As part of the like the plot of a show, like the interest of a show.
Mhm.
And I like not only that, but like a young woman who like then goes to college and like is like, like a coming of age story, right? And
Mhm.
and then Gilmore Girls happened like right after or right with the end of Felicity, I
Yeah,
think.
I'm just looking at timelines of TV shows. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I remember from that time like a Seventh Heaven. uh um I, like uh, uh, I don't know, just like an interest in like the everyday lives of folks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like of families, of whatever, right? And I don't know if you know this, but Amy Sherman Palladino, when she went to meet with the WB, was originally like did not have a pitch for the show. Literally made up the
Mm.
pitch of the show before she walked in the room. Like did not even
Mm.
like
Okay, I love this show now.
like did not have any idea what the hell she was going to say when she walked into this
Okay.
room of producers and was just like, what about a show about a mom and their kid and a daughter and
Mhm.
maybe the mom owns an inn? Like literally that's what came out of her mouth. And I think there was something about the magic, or not the magic, like, yeah, maybe the magic timing of what was happening in television of like being us now being curious about the everyday lives of families or whatever, but also specifically starting to be interested in the everyday lives of women,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
white women, obviously, clearly, whatever, but like, not whatever. That's important to note, but like, yeah, or like, oh
I
God,
mean,
what was that
like Buffy
show?
and Veronica
Buffy.
Mars kind of
Mm-hmm.
stick out as is comparable in a way that it was, shows about like these teenagers that are kind of have a lot of pressure
Yeah,
put
Gifted.
on them. Yeah, yeah, gifted. Gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do they call that? Like the hero's journey, like their call to adventure. Actually that works.
Mm-hmm.
Their call to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
This interest in like, the everyday girl, but and also she's so different.
Yeah, she's
And
so different.
she's so charmed and special. And
I remember one of the first episodes of Gilmore Girls. There's a scene where Rory is at school. This was before Rory transfers, and Rory's at her school in Stars Hollow,
mhm,
and there's like a scene with like they're in a classroom and blah blah blah,
mhm,
and the teacher's like, okay, with this extra time you can start working on your paper or whatever, and then there's like these girlies that are in the room and they're like sharing nail polish and
mm,
passing around the nail polish, and then they
mhm,
notice that like Rory is like working, and they look
mhm.
over and they're like, oh, she's working on the assignment, like ew, like
Yeah,
gross.
yeah,
And then the next scene is between like Rory and her best friend Lane, like
yeah,
making fun of these girls.
yeah.
And I think like that scene,
Mhm.
it just I don't know. I just think it's so like significant to like those girlies, those other girlies were like the cheerleaders, like whatever kind of thing that that maybe we have seen through, oh my God, what was these other like high school dramas or these other high school comedy shows. But like we haven't seen a Rory like like walking around in a moo character that we give a shit about. You know what I mean? Like I like kind of thing,
Well, and it's these characters that care. In a very, I mean, I don't know. It's this funny thing. I brought up the episode. I brought it up. I can only argue for them for really a moment, because in my mind, like it falls flat. It's a funny thing. And when I was thinking about the idea of this episode, and I thought, oh, do we do like, a pop culture analysis of it of some sort? I'm like, I actually can't think of like a more boring thing to do than that. And like the internet, for me, and the internet has plenty of that already. And how can we kind of pull at these things when there isn't like enough there, really? So I think that's kind of where my I don't know, like the 3D of this universe doesn't exist long enough for me to have more of a like 1D thought.
Yeah.
Of it, because it's full of, I mean, I guess like humanness, but also, I don't know, not at the same time, like the contradictions that these characters have.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when I say humanness, I meant like literally the everyday boringness of just like being a
for
human
sure.
being
And
like
I think
going to school.
Like, I think the humanness of like of being full of contradictions. Like I do think like, the humanness of being an unlikable person, like the humanness of and being unlikable, and that being the thing that's kind of interesting and funny. My first thought upon this rewatch of like, Lorelai's getting ready to leave the house, I'm like, oh my God, this woman has ADHD, and like she really needs some like real ass supports in her life. And what an insane thought for me to have at 9 p.m. while I'm like eating cake in a hoodie. You know what I like? That's what I mean when I talk about like the pulling apart of these things, where I just kind of, but I do it, and also I do it.
For sure. It's almost kind of like, what is it about the show that makes you go like, no, like, and also like, yes, at the same time. Like, I don't know. It might be the lalalalas. It's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
I remember, I think everyone has this journey with Gilmore Girls, but I remember being fascinated by the relationship between Lorelai and Rory. And like, if you've grown up with the show, you have a different, like basically what you're saying is like, you have a different opinion of the show now because you're a full human being adult.
Yeah.
Like you can look at this and you can go like, Lorelai is a terrible mother. You could look at this and go like, there's so many boundary issues here. Like you can look at this and go like, you know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And I think upon my like, really it not just being background noise to me, like watch of it, just being like, I do not appreciate the way this woman speaks to or about her daughter, because that is mirrored in my reality at the moment. And that's and like I had to work through that stuff because that trap, and because I looked at the show and go, oh well, okay, I'm supposed to be a martyr for my family. Okay, I'm supposed to do what all of these like things are, like this generational line says to do. But life is not TV.
Oh no.
And that's like a really hard lesson to learn at 19. And I think that's like what all 19-year-olds are constantly learning all the time. Even today, I am being, baffled by my coffee maker is not as fun or cute as the television makes it seem.
Yes.
It's life ruining.
It's life ruining. Yeah. I mean, I think, like it like grows with you in a sense that you can look at the show differently. You know what I mean? Like as you grow up. And I just like remember being so fascinated by that relationship and yearning for that understanding. And now I'm like, No.
No.
What? Like,
No.
no. And also, like, the men in the show, don't even get me fucking started about the fucking men in the show.
Okay. I think no.
Because everybody's okay, so apparently what we're saying is you can do a pop cultural analysis and you can and you can't of the show.
Whether or not you can, it doesn't really, I don't same way as assigning your personality to something, like fucking go off, like be my guest, be my guest. But
right.
it's not what I have a hard time with this show in particular. I have a very hard time doing that because I just, like I said, I think it's kind of, there's not a lot there. But, and also, we see these characters. I'm not saying it's like a bad thing to do because there's a lot of substance. We see all these characters move through all these things. Mm-hmm. But speaking of the men in the show, I have a little game for us today.
Oh, yay.
It's a pretty classic game. But
the one that they play in the show.
I don't know. Do they play this? They've got to at one point.
In the dance marathon episode, they look out the window into the gazebo, into the town center, and they think they play the game we're about to play.
Oh, yes, you are correct. You are correct.
This is what I'm talking about. I have a Luke's mug in my kitchen.
I know.
You already know this.
I've seen it. So we are going to play Fuck, Marry, Kill, and my first submission.
Okay.
And we'll both do this. My first submission to Fuck, Marry, Kill is Jess, Dean, Logan.
Ah! You're killing me. That's all the marketing content of this is going to be. You're going to say something about Gilmore Girls, and it's going to be like, ah! You should just make a video of that. My reactions. That's hilarious. Okay. Oh my God, this is like hard.
I'm gonna have to edit that scream down. I have this in the bag. I know who's getting what. I know who's getting what. I
scream so much. Jacque was listening to the Does Everyone Believe the Best Friends episode, which people like. Yes. And he was listening to it, and he was like, Jacqueline, you cannot scream on a podcast. And I'm like, I know.
Would you believe I pitched that down? So, I do volume controls.
I'm sure you did.
But also, you have to keep the scream. I'm not going to take the authenticity away from the people. You're going to yell in my ears. You're going to yell in everybody's ears.
I will never understand what medium I'm participating in, no matter what it is.
Well, your initial reaction to this was silent. It did include you falling off a chair in a dramatic.
I'm like, oh, right, I'm on a podcast. Oh, my God. Okay.
Okay. Fuck, Marry, Kill, Jess, Dean, Logan. I think this is an easy one.
No, it is easy. I would kill Dean. Which, honestly, if you wouldn't kill Dean, I don't respect you.
I'm killing all the Deans.
Fuck Dean.
Yeah.
I would kill Dean. Yeah, I mean, I would marry Jess and I would fuck Logan.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why are you marrying Jess?
I'm marrying Jess because I would much rather be married to someone who owns a publishing company in Philadelphia than to someone who's in that money place as a whatever, that have all the responsibilities of all of the things, and I don't want that. No. Yeah.
I'm also killing Dean. I'm killing all the Deans. I have met many a Dean. I've dated a Dean. I say death to Dean.
Yes. Me too.
I am fucking Jess because he knows what he's doing. I trust those hands.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not dumb, so I'm marrying Logan. I shall get that bag.
You're like, I want that money life.
Yeah, this is late stage capitalism. I'm checking out. Thank you very much.
I want that independent wealth, or not even independent, inherited wealth. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I no, the romance is alive and well with Jess Mariano for me. Mm-hmm. And when you marry someone, you get to still have sex with them all the time.
So this is a question I have about this game.
Game, yes,
true. Because that's not what is implied when I hear this game. I mean, in a love match, marriage, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with allowing a sexful marriage in this game, in the parameters of this game.
Okay, great. Then yes, I would stick with my answer.
I don't think I'd want to have much of a conversation with Jess, to be honest. I think I'll leave you in the morning and say adieu.
Bye-bye. I know, that's so funny. I think that makes a lot of sense because like that makes so much sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do want to have a lot of conversations with Jess. I want to be all up in the like snide, like
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm better than the world stuff.
No, you can find a Jess at any old party. I'll just.
But Logan's got money.
We all need to fuck a Jess in our day.
We need to. I mean, I don't like any of them. Like, if we're really like, they're all terrible.
Well, this is the last 3 men on Earth. So, and this is the game. All right, I have another selection for you.
Oh no,
there's many. Luke, Richard, Kirk.
I love that. I was like, okay, now we're gonna do Lorelai, and that was not what was thrown at me.
Luke, Richard, Kirk.
I would kill Luke.
Oh!
I fucking hate Luke. Dang.
Ruthless.
I would kill Luke. I would kill Luke. I would fuck Kirk, and I would marry Richard. You want to talk about a marriage with a bag full of money?
Yeah.
I would marry Richard Gilmore.
Yeah. No, I don't. I respect that. I respect that. Do you have any arguments for or against Kirk?
Oh, about fucking Kirk?
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk is a character.
I mean, a man of many talents.
A man of many talents.
You don't know what's hidden in there.
Role play, costumes. It would be he's a filmmaker. We could like get into that. Right. Like, he's a true artist. That would be a fun time.
He's a true artist. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah.
What are your picks?
I think I would kill Richard. Fuck Luke, because I love a working man. I've had enough of Richard. No, you. Oh, no. Listener, Jacqueline is about to spit out her bed. Oh no, are you okay? I'm sorry. Oh no, okay.
I'm sorry, that's so funny. I love a working man.
I do. They have lovely hands. I love working man's hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll climb that. I
mean, he's tall.
Is
he? I don't know. I think Lorelai's just tall. Maybe
he needs to keep the hat on though.
Oh, yeah.
The hat's not coming off. Richard's out of here. I've had enough of him. But I'm marrying Kirk for all the reasons that you said. Like I could really jump on that roller coaster with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm ready. I'm ready and willing.
And like, Kirk's got money.
Oh yeah, all those little side hustles
where he tries to buy that house from Luke, and Luke is like, "Where'd you get $250,000?"
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk is like, "Have you not seen the last 7 seasons of this show?"
Yeah, I applied for every and any job.
Seasons. Exactly.
Yeah,
no, I love it.
I love that.
I want to talk about a working man.
Yeah, no, I respect the grind. I respect the grind.
I love it. So funny.
My next selection for you.
Yes.
Rory, Lane, Paris.
Oh my God. Okay. I would kill Rory.
Yeah.
Done. Again, like, please. I would kill Rory. I think I would kill Rory. I would fuck Paris, and I would marry Lane.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have very different taste.
Yeah. I love this. I'm learning so much about you.
I know. Why?
Why would I? Oh, why all my
Yeah.
picks?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Rory is the absolute literal worst.
Yes.
Like,
I couldn't. I couldn't handle that whining for 1 second.
No.
I need to be the most annoying person in any room.
Exactly. I would. I think I would have sex with Paris because of the attention to detail.
Yeah.
And the like commitment to doing things right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like because of the overzealousness of their character.
Paris researches. She researches.
She researches? Yeah. And also the like the performance of the character and the passion that Paris has.
Yeah.
The anger within, I think would make for such an adventure. And then I would marry Lane because of the musical talent. I would want that in my life all the time. And also because Lane is hilarious and keeps the like the thing that I think Lane does really well in the show is like your problems are not really problems with Rory. Like I think that's like what is like why we love Lane is because Lane has like actual issues. And Rory's just like a spoiled brat.
Like real class and race.
And like
intergenerational trauma.
And like her parents
like
trying to
repairing.
Yes. Like,
yeah.
Like real problems. Like one of the like most ridiculous episodes of Gilmore Girls is when like Rory or when like Lane is literally being like shipped off to I think Korea and like without any return date. And Lane is trying to be like, Rory, like, I'm really worried I may never see you again. And Rory is like, I'm trying to get into Harvard. I don't have time for you. Like, that's literally what the episode is about. It's like ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And we like, this is what I'm saying. Like, Lane is someone who has like a real story. It has some comic relief, is like has some levity. It's funny, has some charm and talent.
Yeah.
These are all my reasons.
I would also kill Rory.
Surprising.
But then, we discuss this. But then I am marrying Paris.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to be taken care of. And Paris can do that for me. She's on the ball. And I'm fucking Lane. Because for all of the reasons that you like, I'd love to be taken on that ride as well. You know, she seems fun. Lane seems like a good time. We really are. This says quite a bit about the both of us.
All of your marriage choices have been about safety, which I think is interesting.
Yes.
Except Kirk. Or Kirk was not about safety. Kirk was about art.
But safe, the safe bet on art. It reflects my real life lack of marriage choice. Lack of safety.
I love it.
Just kidding. I love you, Simon. He won't listen to this. And okay, my last one. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna leave room for editorializing in my selection. Great. Because I came out swinging.
Yeah, you really did.
And I could have done, but they also needed to be there. Okay, my last batch.
Okay,
Lorelai, Suki, Emily.
I hate this. This is the ultimate challenge.
It's a tough one. Actually, I don't have a gut. All of these I could do right away.
I mean, I think I have a gut. I think I've got a gut.
Okay, you go.
I think I would kill Lorelai. Because for all the same reasons I would kill Rory. Like, shut up. And then also, I think I would marry Emily. And because I think I would marry Emily because I'm really trying to be on that like Cape Cod porch with her in our white linen. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd actually love to like waspy lesbians in the. I would love someone. Please paint me that portrait
like,
and send it. Yeah,
the end of the reboot when she walks down to the ocean and sits on the bench, and I'm like, I would love to be sitting right there with her.
Yeah,
would
two
marry
sisters,
Emily.
two best friends. I love that.
I love it.
Yeah,
and then I would fuck Suki because it's Suki. And like, what a good time that would be.
I think I'd like to marry Suki.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice.
I think I'd like to marry Suki. Great pies.
Just
it sounds
everything.
Sounds nice. You know, it sounds stable. Once again, safety seems to be my pick.
Like also very like joyful. Fun.
Yeah.
Light.
The dramas are like, oh, my dear, you're on fire.
Exactly.
And I'm Irish. I think I'm killing Emily. I've had enough. I need you to grow up. What is this DAR nonsense?
Oh, no.
I've had enough.
Yes.
And Lorelai, I think, would be a good lover because she'd do it for the story. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go down for Emily Gilmore. I love her.
I'm not. Once again, similar to Jess, I am leaving in the morning. Goodbye, Lorelai. I see. And don't try and pull that cutesy banter in bed. No. It's not even. No. That's
inappropriate. But I don't think that's the way that it goes.
No, I don't think it's the way that it goes. I think it's that's the plot to get you there.
Yes. It's the foreplay.
Well, that is my Gilmore Girls episode.
This is great. What a fun episode.
It's my fall episode. I was like, we should do something seasonal.
Oh my God. I love it. Oh yeah, there's nothing more fall than an Instagram post with an Instagram reel with some Gilmore Girls soundtrack behind it.
La 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 la. Yeah,
it's so good.
All the la la las, all the la la las. Well, thank you for listening to another episode. Do you feel like?
Do you ever feel like Gilmore Girls is never going away?
Oh my God! I mean, I guess we're just perpetuating the problem that I have with this, but also I don't. Also, whatever. I mean, it makes sense. I do think part of this, like, love is like, right now where we are in the world, our brains can't handle anything else but chicken soup. So if Gilmore Girls is your chicken soup and you don't want anyone to poke at that, my friend, wouldn't thou like to live more deliciously?
And I think this is like a perfect Phoebe episode because the thing that Phoebe loves to do is like point to the big thing in the room and be like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean?
What the fuck is that? Let me consume
fall.
it.
Exactly. And it's fall. And you're like, what is Gilmore Girls having and hold all of us in this season?
Yeah, it's got me too. It's got me too. And I'm sure I'll keep. I wonder if it'll last. I wonder if it'll last. It's like 20 years of Gilmore Girls.
I think it'll keep going.
Smart. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for listening. You can rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
You can also rate and review. I think you can just rate on Spotify.
You can follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Yeah,
you can watch. Thank you for saying that. I meant to say, if you like to watch your podcast, we put these up on YouTube and Spotify as well.
As a video.
I have a couple of video podcasts that I enjoy. So we left that there for you as well. We got all your bases covered.
Put our faces on your big old screen.
Plus, it's fun. It's fun for me to put my face on my big old screen.
It's also
guests
fun.
Come over.
It's also
what
fun.
They see.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh. Wow.
Yeah. I'm obnoxious.
I see. It's also fun because I forget I'm on a podcast all the time, so then you can see the reactions of what's happening.
Yes, you can see when I am narrating when Jacque leaves the room. or dies, or
microphone falls, or is spitting out apple cider. I mean, it's so funny that we had Gilmore Girls. I'm like sipping on some apple cider.
I know. I made myself a chai
It's ridiculous.
tea.
This is ridiculous. Okay.
Well, what else are we supposed to do? The world's ending. Here we are once again, watching Gilmore Girls, having our little fall beverages. Okay, bye. Thank you for listening to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Follow this chaos wherever you get your podcasts.
Our artwork is by Simon Peng. Do You Ever Feel Like is produced by Jacqueline Wills
and Phoebe Taylor. You can follow us on Instagram at DoYouEverPod.
You can write to us at doyoueverpod@gmail.com. Okay, bye!